My name is Dr. Paul Richardson and I work at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and it's my pleasure to be here at the 2019 ASCO meeting. And Cindy, thank you very much for asking me to talk to myeloma crowd. We've had a remarkably productive meeting actually on the myeloma side of things, because we had a superb session on on Sunday morning, and then we had a great poster session this morning with lots of new and exciting data. And I just wanted to share with you some of the information from particular trials that we've been involved with that were profiled at the meeting. And probably the most important is the ICARIA study, which is a large randomized international phase 3 trial where we looked at the activity and efficacy of Isatuximab, which is the CD38 targeting antibody that's qualitatively different to daratumumab, and importantly has aspects of its biology which may make it particularly useful, recognizing of course that daratumumab has become a standard of care and is a real game changer and has gone very early in the treatment of myeloma. Isatuximab has properties where it's more of a direct cell killer than an immunological agent in the same way that Dara is. So they're both immunological, but Isa seems to be more of a direct cell killer. It works through a mechanism called the ectoenzymic pathway and an apoptotic signal. So it makes itself particularly attractive to combine with other drugs. And so we've seen that Isatuximab is well tolerated. We've seen it combines very well with pomalidomide. And in fact, we just published in Blood a paper showing that in our patients who participated in this trial, we saw that the median progression-free survival time, which is the time of disease control, exceeded 17 months, which in a relapsed refractory population is very exciting. So this provided the rationale for the randomized trial, where we looked at the current standard of care, which is pomalidomide and dexamethasone, and compared that platform to the 3-drug platform of Isatuximab, POM, and Dex. We enrolled 300 patients, 150 patients per arm. We conducted this across 26 countries, 92 centers, and we got it done in lickety-split time. And the data we're presenting is actually from a data cutoff in which the median follow-up was about a year. So on the one hand, we're extremely grateful to the patients and families who participated because, most importantly, we were able to show in a very sick population of patients that whilst the pomalidomide and dexamethasone did well, and we enjoyed about 6 months of progression-free time, the 3-drug platform did about twice as well, with almost 12 months worth of disease control on average. So that's a very exciting result. The response rates were double, the high-quality response rates were double also, and what was really interesting is that we started to see something that suggested a survival benefit. And what that means is, for those patients who were on pomalidomide and dex alone, when that treatment failed them, they did get daratumumab in over half of them, plus other drugs. But even with that salvage, their outcomes were not as good as the 3 first. So it's an important message that, in the relapsed refractory setting with active disease, waiting on 2 drugs, well, you discuss it with your doctor, but at the same time you may be better off actually with the 3. And in this particular case, pomalidomide, dexamethasone, Isatuximab really did perform very well. We looked at safety, no new safety signals. Very pleased to say that we did quality of life. And in the quality of life study, the addition of the monoclonal antibody did not impact adversely. So better outcome, stable quality of life, reasonable safety profile, manageable side effects, and most importantly, a really important new triplet for patients in the relapsed refractory setting. A couple of points to make. It was particularly active in high-risk patients, particularly active in patients with renal disease. We had a large number of patients who were older, so this clearly is important for those patients who are over 65. And finally, we were able to show that in patients who were truly lenalidomide refractory, which there were over 90%, the hazard ratio for the benefit was really striking at 0.5. And what that means is that that population in particular, those folks in whom lenalidomide is failing them directly, that group in particular benefit from the 3 versus the 2. So tons of information and a very important advance, and we're very hopeful because, as you know, we're very lucky. We have a fabulous FDA team in myeloma, really second to none in my opinion, and they are hopefully going to approve this in the near future for our patients. If daratumumab has failed a patient, the use of Isatuximab straight behind it as a salvage, just as a single agent, as you might expect, isn't terribly effective. I mean, it's safe, but it's not terribly effective. It's in combination that probably the value lies, so we're seeing how that unfolds. But at this meeting, we were looking specifically at daratumumab resistant patients. In other words, where daratumumab has failed a patient, these patients are typically penta-refractory, triple-class resistant.